Scientists can create plants with the exact desired traits they want very rapidly and with great accuracy in today's day. These are called genetically engineered foods. To create these genetically engineered foods, geneticists isolate the gene responsible for the trait they want and insert it into a different plant. Not only can genes be transferred from one plant to another, but genes from non-plant organisms can also be used. There has been a lot of controversy over the topic of genetically engineered foods. The increased use of such products has sparked a lot of interest in the topic, and this presentation will discuss both the benefits and disadvantages. Proponents say that pest and disease resistance, herbicide cold and drought tolerance, more nutrition and taste, faster growing periods, medicinal purposes, increased shelf life and food supply, as well as more desirable traits, such as less fat absorption, are reasons why they support the continued use of GE foods. But what are genetically engineered foods really doing? There are still unknown effects on human health. There has not been nearly enough testing to ensure that they are 100% safe for us to ingest, but there is already innumerable amounts of GE foods being sold to us completely unlabeled. The gene interbreeding could cause new species of plants to outcompete with natural organisms, leading to extinction. We could cause unintended harm to other organisms, reduce the effectiveness of pesticides, and accidentally cause gene transfers between non-target species. Furthermore, we could cause more human allergenicity. Economic concerns over how costly and time-consuming the engineering process is also an issue. Genetically engineered foods are generally regarded as safe, but there has been no adequate testing to ensure complete safety. While there are no reports of illness or injury due to GE foods, each product will have to be judged individually. Around the world, genetically engineered foods are under scrutiny. In Japan, health testing is mandatory for all GE foods. In India, there is not yet a policy because no GE crops are grown there, and none are commercially available yet. However, because of the country's high poverty and exploding population, it's highly likely that the benefits of GE foods will outweigh the risks. Some places in Brazil have banned genetically engineered crops entirely, and the country is working in collaboration with Greenpeace to prevent the importation of GE crops completely. However, some farmers have resorted to smuggling in GE seeds because they fear what will happen if they are unable to compete in the global marketplace. In Europe, anti-GE protests have been especially active. In the past few years, Europe has experienced two major food scares, and that has undermined consumer confidence. Citizens are not inclined to trust the government's information about GE foods. Europe now requires mandatory food labeling of all genetically engineered foods. In the United States, the regulatory process is very confused because there are 3 different government agencies that have jurisdiction over genetically engineered foods. The EPA evaluates for environmental safety. The USDA evaluates for whether the plant is safe to grow, and the FDA evaluates whether the plant is safe to eat. Currently, up to 85% of U.S. corn is genetically engineered, as are 91% of soybeans and 88% of cotton. It's been estimated that over 70% of processed foods contain genetically engineered ingredients. Over the past few years, it's been revealed that genetically engineered foods can pose serious risks to humans. Despite these risks, Congress has yet to pass a single law to manage them responsibly. Our regulatory agencies have failed to address the impacts of genetic engineering on human health or the environment. Currently, regulation for biotechnology is done by using 12 different statutes that were written long before genetically engineered food became a reality, and this is definitely not good enough. Genetically engineered foods could provide the perfect alternative to our food concerns. However, there is a growing concern for the way in which research for it is being done. As time goes on, the technology behind this practice has been drastically improving, but there are still a lot of things we don't know. So the question is now, do we need genetically engineered food? And how can we make it better? My recommendation to you is to be overly cautious as opposed to overly zealous. The best thing to do is buy organic. There are different levels as depicted here, but they are all still safer options. If you must buy GE foods, buy ones that are labeled, as these have probably been tested. Genetic engineering is still in its childhood, and until we know more, we should all be careful.